Alright. Well, as you can see, there, we've got a whole pile of screws and pieces that came off of this Singer 66 because we needed to get it apart and get it cleaned. So I'm going to start putting this back together. Most everything got degreased in the sonic cleaner, especially the bobbin case that would just had a ton of lint and buildup around it, and the sonic cleaner with degreaser helps blast that all out of there. I took the felt wick out of the bobbin case area here because you don't want that to get full of water or degreaser. It needs to be clean felt for clean oil to help oil. Everything, once it got degreased and rinsed, I've soaked and rubbed it with sewing machine oil again to get ready for assembly. And I haven't sorted any of my screws because I didn't keep track of that, which may not have been smart on my part, but you know, it's exciting to get to guess what goes where sometimes. So I'm going to start by putting the spring back on the side of this bobbin holder. The bobbin case bracket, maybe? I don't know what this would be called. And I think there's only 2 screws this size in my pile of screws, and I think this round head one is the one that belongs here, because the other screw this size of thread is has a big has a flathead on it, and that holds down the spring for the bobbin case lid, I believe. Putting this on, it's got the hook that goes under this tab so that it springs and bounces exactly the right amount. So I think that is how that goes. And then what else did I need to pre-assemble here before I get on to other stuff? Actually, nothing. Alright, let's move the camera and get the machine out in front here, and then we'll start putting stuff back on it. Alright. We're going to start with the easy screw that we can't possibly mistake for anything else, and that is the reverse thread screw here in the crank. It's a left-hand thread, which means that to tighten it, you're turning it counterclockwise, and that also means that sometimes they are a bear to get started. There we go. There we are. Okay. And then oil this arm here because it's a bit stiff, it seems. So we'll oil and wiggle that a little bit. Alright, now let's, okay, this is the only screw with a big enough shoulder for this piece. So that clearly goes in there. this. And then there's this washer, but it is not, in fact, big enough to fit over the shoulder, so I don't believe that comes off of here. I'm gonna put this in, and I'm, carefully choosing. I've got a bunch of screwdrivers here. I'm trying to choose the screwdriver that is the best fit in all these slots, because the most exact fit on a slotted screwdriver is the way that you get the most power from your onto the fastener, and it prevents stripping. So I have 24 or so screwdriver bits for my driver that I've collected to put in my sewing machine stuff, and 90% of the time I need these 3 screwdrivers, but the time when you need it is when you need to have it, so it's better to get it around than to be missing it. Alright, so that's turning good and not binding. Next, I need to get the tension release arm here in place. The reason I need to do that is because the pin here for the tension release is going to go in, and this finger is what keeps it from just hopping straight through and out the other side. Now, there, that shouldered screw is the one that fits in this hole. Okay. This little spring, I have to hold the piece with the hole over the screw location so that I can get the screw started. And now that the screw is started, I gotta, there we go. Keep moving that around until the shoulder is in there, and then I can tighten this when it's lined up on the shoulder, and that moves. Get our dab of oil on that. And now we can put our tension release pin in. And it won't just slip out past that finger. Alright, tension release pin is in place, which means we can put our tensioner in. And I believe, put the 2 discs facing each other like they should go. And then this is the release washer, so that when that pin is pushed out, it hits the center there and lifts the spring off of the washers. And then the spring and the nut. Sometimes these nuts are a bit of a pain because that has that big split in it. And they don't necessarily thread quickly. Try turning this over and see if it wants to thread the other side. There we go. Now it wants to thread. I realized that I think this bushing goes on there. Maybe I'll have to revisit this in case I get extra parts. Because I don't think this... Alright. There we go. Alright, that's working the way it should. We're going to leave that for a second, and then I'll see if I have any spare bits. And also I'm going to check my old footage and see if and because I did video removing the tensioner, so I can look and see what belongs there. That's what I forgot to do, is clean under where the hook goes. So I'm gonna take a minute and get some sewing machine oil and my toothbrush and just scrub around in there. But I'm not gonna record that because the toothbrush sounds terrible on camera. Okay, scrubbed around under there. It also occurs to me that I've got a pair of set screws here. These are both roughly the same size, but one is taller than the other. And one of them goes in here where the needle bar guide goes. Because I was going to try that, remove the needle bar, and I couldn't get this to come off, so I gave up. And that hole is about this deep, and that is the longer of those two set screws. This is what, 3 thread, and that was like 4 or 5. And this one goes in there, and it's about flat even. This set screw goes in the presser foot lifter in this hole. So when we put the presser foot in, that's gonna do that one. Alright. Time to get our hook in place, and So you remember when I took this hook out, there was this screw pin right here that I thought was a retainer for it. However, there is not a ridge under here that this would fit into to be a retainer. Oh, I know what that does. Okay. This screw hole, I figured it out. This screw hole is a set screw to hold this pin that goes down in through this bobbin or this part of the bobbin holding. So anyhow, we're going to get our hook in place, and we've got this crank arm that goes on it, and then so this crank arm here that we're gonna put we're only snugging it enough to hold. There we go. Nope. All right. There. Okay. We've got it so that it's gonna move for us, and then we'll put this link on here. This link has a shouldered screw, this shouldered screw, and this link needs to go. See, it's got the offset here. It needs to be out. The offset needs to be up, because while it's rotating, this offset avoids the clamp part of that section. However, I think it also needs to be like this. Well, need to loosen this clamp up. The clamp height is determined by this dog bone piece here. So okay, that is needle up. So we have to time our hook. There's our hook. So our hook should be with our needle down. Our hook should be right behind where the needle's going to go. So we'll flip this back and snug that screw up. I'm not going to final tighten that until we really get because I think I missed it. I need to rotate it a bit further this way, but we'll So as we turn the machine, the hook goes that way behind the needle, so when the needle's down it needs to be forward of the needle. So that's snugged in place, and then now that that's snugged in place, we can set the bobbin case in. I think the bobbin case, I don't remember, yeah, I think the bobbin case comes out. Yeah, okay, the bobbin case will come out with that pin in. But let me set this pin in, and now I've got this long set screw that goes in. And that holds this pin that rides on. Okay. Okay. And that piece wiggles like it should. Okay. Let's get our feed dog in, because once the hook is back in place, the feed dog can go back in. And that is this shouldered screw. It's got to clamp through onto the feed dog, and there's no adjustment on this that I can see. You just have to lift the feed dog and get it to thread onto the hole. All right. Oh, this is not the screw that fits in that hole. This is somehow a different size. Okay. Then Is it this cheese head? Aha, okay. So this feed dog is a fine thread. And I thought that shoulder bolt went in there, but I was wrong. And they helpfully, because they didn't use all the same thread on all the same size screws, I was able to find out that that wasn't the right screw. There. Excellent. And I keep pushing this machine around on my plastic table, and this one screw here is sharp enough it keeps shaving off and getting stuff in it, so. Okay. This machine at some point was stored somewhere by someone, because it's got foam on the bottom of it, so it was sitting on a piece of foam for a while. Alright, so that's the bottom. And now let's get our spring back to hold the cover in place. There's our, it's like, I know I had the tiniest screw here. There's the tiniest screw. Okay. That was the two tiniest screws on the plate in the thing. And we'll pop our bobbin case in, and it's got this slot in it, so you have to make sure and wiggle that slot onto the hook, and then it's got this piece here, and that goes onto a finger on the other side of this piece here, so that this settles down in place. And then we got this screw. This is another one where I've got two screws that are very similar, but this one is a little bit, this one smaller is also smaller diameter, and that I think is the only one that fits in this hole. Yep, that is the only one that fit in that hole. So we've got our bobbin case in, and yeah. Once this piece is in, it keeps this bracket keeps this from turning as much, and that is what prevents the bobbin case from coming out. So when you're removing your bobbin case on these, you have to pop this screw and get this spring out so that it lets the lets it go. All right. Now I think that felt is supposed to be sticking out enough to touch and lightly oil the bobbin, the hook here, as we turn, so, which I think it's doing. Okay, cool. All right, let's get the presser foot back in. So, a lifter, and here's the screw that fits in this hole. Alright, well. And this is our presser foot lifter. And then this goes all right. Our presser foot rod goes in there, and can we see a spot where that clamp was? Not really. Okay. So checking to see, but I cleaned this up well enough that it's not making that evident. Now, so this screw is going to hold our finger down. Yeah, that should do that, and then we've got our thread cutter here, and that we want to put up above our presser foot, and then I'm gonna put our little set screw here, and there. Okay, so that set screw is just in there loose now. Okay. To set our presser foot height, and get our needle plate back in, and when I put needle plates in, I do not tighten these screws beyond finger tight. Like, all it has to do is hold this in place, and then all the machines I get where these have been cranked down like somebody thought they were, you know, trying to keep an airplane in one piece is just incredible. So, alright, got this together, and that means we can put our presser foot on. There are 3 knobs that are all knurled. That are all knurled the same on top, but it looked like one of these was shorter than the other. Nope, they're all identical. Okay. So we'll just pick one for our presser foot. Alright. And line the presser foot up over the needle hole. And I push this clamp down and then lifted the lever so it's just above, so that this lever is just loose and not touching here. And now we will tighten our set screw. And then this should, perfect. That lifts, and then when it releases, there's still a little play here to make sure that you always have your presser foot pushing. If you put this clamp down and you set this lifter bracket right against the lever on the back, then you don't always have pressure on your presser foot the way you need it. So, okay. There. That washer was the washer to put the pressure foot spring on so that the adjuster here is going to turn freely. There we go. Nice. Okay. Perfect. And then this thread cutter can get pushed down the bar closer to here to be more convenient. Oh, that's that. Okay. Alright, and then there's a needle clamp. The needle bar, the needle clamp has a pin that goes in the back of the needle bar, and that's why it will stay up there while you loosen and put your needle in and out. And then there's this tiny screw hole and the thread guide for above the needle bar. And I guess I should have slipped this up there first. There we go. This screw is not the right one. Which screw did I mistakenly put in the wrong spot? Let's... Nope, this screw is definitely not the right one for that hole. But I'm going to guess that the screw I interchanged with is this small one here. I think these are both the same size thread, and this one is short. Yeah, this one's short. So this one goes here because that longer one would have poked all the way through the bushing here and run up against the needle bar and clamped the needle bar, which obviously we don't want to do. Also, I think this guide goes on the other way around. Yeah. This... Nope, it definitely doesn't go that way because it doesn't fit over the bushing. So it does hang down. Okay. Thought for a second it went facing up, but... Of course, it threaded the first time I put it in, and now that I'm second guessing myself and have to do it over, it won't just pop in there. There we go. Okay. So this longer tiny screw holds our spring for our bobbin cover door. And then put our spring retainer for the bobbin case back in, because it prevents access to the screw for that door. And now the needle clamp can go back on. Alright. Alright, since we're doing this, the door here has the two grooves on the back, and to get the door in, slip it up past, and then it works its way onto the thing and pops down. And when you want to take it off, you can either give it a little shift, or you can then remember to just pop it over the needle plate and slide it further to pop it off. So, alright. Bobbin cover back in place. Let's get our end cover back on. So we've got a screw with a shoulder. Oh, come on. There we go. When it's loose, it provides the hook spot for that, and then the thumb screw holds the bottom. There. Yeah. So, in a perfect world, this shoulder screw would just be tightened in there and the head would just slide up and pop off. However, a lot of times these get bent a little bit, even from the factory. They just don't slide on as easily, and I find it simpler to take the screw out and then the thumb screw out, and then I'll just loosen this a half turn or so, and that just makes popping the front cover off way easier. And the hand wheel, which again we cleaned, so we'll put some oil under it. And locking nut. And the hand wheel lock. And I, of course, guessed wrong, so we'll pop this out, rotate it, and now when I put the locking nut, the big hand wheel lock on, should come out in the right spot. Oh, come on, there we go. Yeah, alright, so there we go. Spins freely, and then we can lock it, and it turns. Perfect. The bobbin winder had that much goo around the edges, so it needs to get some oil worked into it, but I don't think I have to pop it off. I think I just need to oh yeah, I can already feel it loosening up, so with a little sewing machine oil, we'll get that we'll be able to run that and get that to work the new oil in and loosen up. Perfect. All right. What's our last spot? The bobbin winding hook. Because these machines don't have a tensioner, they have this S hook to wrap the thread around for bobbin winding, which is six of one, half dozen the other. You just have to know how to do it. So you just have to know how to wrap the thread around the hook to get it to tension properly for bobbin winding. So, all right, now got spool pin and our motor mounting bolt and our light fixture mounting bolt and the screw and the cover for the back. Time to rewire this.